My name is Sarah Byrne and I'm the project coordinator for Collections People's Stories, Anthropology Reconsidered. It's an Arts Council England funded project and essentially it's a big review of our anthropology collections.
By the end of March 2015, we're aiming to have reviewed at least 30,000 objects in the collection.
We've got 2 review teams, so we bought lots of equipment for them to set them up so that they can work away reviewing the collections.
For example, we would check to see if it's marked and then we'd make sure that this number is what we have on the database. We put in any materials that it's made out of. Then we'd make sure that it's got a description so that it's searchable. Yesterday we found a boar's tusk and it was broken. We sent it to Bronwyn, our conservator. She's based here at the store and then it can be returned to the box.
It's important to have photos so that we can identify the objects for the curators and for the experts that are collaborating on this project.
The photography that I do is the ones that are really important for the collection. Every object has got its history, it's got its personality, so for me it's more like a portrait.
With the anthropological collections in particular, context is everything. It's the context that gives the object meaning and therefore makes it useful for display.
We've sent lots of objects up to the museum where we've had sort of groups that need to see objects. Our assistant curators have been sort of selecting objects of interest for various researchers.
One of the biggest challenges is how to bring our work that we do with source communities or diaspora communities. So there's obviously a very strong link between those people and those objects, but how to then bring what we find out from that kind of work to a wider British audience.
One of my hopes for the outcomes of this project is that we understand the history of our collections better. We understand the connection between objects and the people who made, collected and produced them.
What I have been doing is working primarily with the anthropology historical records. They date from pretty much the entire span of the museum. I'm here to make the relationships apparent between the documentations and the objects.
Fundamentally, our job is to make sure that the collections are used and useful. My hopes are that we will come to understand the collections well enough to be able to develop a really spectacular display of the anthropology collections. I think that there is an important role that a curator has in understanding the local contexts of the display and coming to understand the local context in the source community and trying to bridge that gap and make that communication more successful.
We have a community department, but from a curatorial point of view, sometimes we're left out of those discussions, and likewise the community and learning department is left out of curatorial. So I think it's very important to try and link those departments together in terms of what kind of stories we tell and what's important.
For Collections People's Stories, I run an engagement advisory group and they kind of steer some of the decisions for the project and check that we're being inclusive with things that we do. We'd like to get more people involved in kind of taking decisions and helping us decide what we should do with things, helping us display things. So we want a bit more of a kind of a porous relationship, I guess. Anthropology collections are basically about humans, and it just seems really obvious that by understanding each other makes the world a better place.